Hi, you doing okay? Sweet. I've got a video for you today. That being yet another tier list, of which I got the idea from this lovely person right here, so huge shout out to them. But yes, today we are going to be ranking every single enemy that is currently in Dead Rails by their difficulty or annoyance to fight. So things like really easy enemies to fight will be lower on the list, and things that are a little bit more difficult to fight will be higher. Hopefully that makes sense, or else I really don't know what to tell you. Anyways, if you end up enjoying the video, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to hit 300k by the end of the year, and I would love if you could help with that. Plus, you get to keep up to date with all of the latest Dead Rails releases and content from yours truly. With all of that said, let's get right into the tier list. The basic zombie is not much of a threat. They're really slow, they're mostly harmless unless 100 of them swarm you at once, and are fairly easy to kill. There's not a whole ton to say about the base zombies other than, just like any other enemy that we'll talk about here, they're a little bit annoying to kill with melee weapons. Easy to fight, definitely D tier. The banker zombie is the exact same thing as the regular zombie, just with this awesome looking beard and a code to the bank vault in the town that you found him in. They only spawn in towns, and sometimes in the bank, sometimes around a bank. Same overall difficulty though, so D tier it is. Though it's a very useful enemy. The runner zombies, or the fast zombies, whatever you want to call them, are so annoying. Probably the most annoying enemy in the entire game. God, I hate them with a passion. They're basically the exact same thing as the last two zombies, but they scare the crap out of you whenever you're just wandering around. They're easy to kill, but jump scare me way more than I'd like to admit, and drive me nuts. B tier is where I'm gonna put it. I literally hate these guys, but I can't put them any higher because they're not that hard to kill. The lab zombies, or the scientist zombies, whatever you want to call them, only spawn if you decide to do the Tesla lab event. These dudes are just as annoying as the fast zombies, because while you're waiting for the timer, they just kind of infinitely spawn and swarm you really fast. They could spawn behind you or anywhere around you really, and it drives me insane. Regardless, individually, they're not much more difficult. They're fairly easy to kill. There's just a lot of them at once, and there's really no way to combat that or fight them individually. It's otherwise the same as the runner zombie, so definitely B tier. I had a whole part here before about the differences between the different zombie soldiers, the ones with swords, the ones with nothing, the ones with guns, but honestly they spawn in such a horde that there's no real way for me to say anything about all of the different ones and single them out, because in general, you just have to fight them all at once. The military zombies aren't super difficult. Really the only thing that's annoying about them is one, the amount of them, though this time that I was playing, it was fairly tame, and two, the fact that the ones that spawn with swords and guns effectively ricochet or rather deflect your bullets if you hit their weapon. Otherwise, they aren't super hard to beat overall, though I really hate the horse-mounted ones that spawn outside the base. I always wait for them to spawn and just use the cannons on them. B tier if nothing else because the amount of them and the fact that they can deflect your bullets. Captain Prescott himself is really nothing to sweat. He's basically the same as the regular zombie soldiers and can be killed super easily. Otherwise, he's just basically a normal zombie. If you had to fight him by himself, I'd say he's a C tier. Though a very valuable C tier if you take him to the sheriff's office. The vampires are probably the most unique enemy in the entire game since they can teleport and also slide with no animation, like they're cooler than we are. Which, yeah, they might be. But while they teleport and can move faster than the slow zombies, also seemingly having a little bit more health than the average enemy listed so far, they're not super hard to kill one-on-one. The only thing that can make them really annoying to deal with is whenever it's a vampire night, they can teleport into the cabin of your train. I couldn't get a clip of it this time. The entire playthrough, I could not get a single vampire night for some reason. All things considered, I'd say that they're probably a B tier enemy. Not super difficult, but if you're not being super cautious, they can literally just teleport all around you and just destroy you. Wolves are a super common enemy, no more threatening than a slow zombie, other than the fact that they walk a little bit faster, and the fact that they basically always spawn in packs. They can't climb your train though, and they're super easy to kill. Basically yet another D tier enemy. It's sponsor time. And the sponsor of today's video is you guys. Yes, you lovely individual watching the video right now. You are helping to keep me alive. Whether you want to do that or not, that's up to you. But hey, if you could hit that subscribe button, that'd be absolutely incredible. It'd help out the channel a ton. And hey, consider becoming a channel member as well with the join button on my channel or the link in the description below, because that would be absolutely incredible. Otherwise, yeah, that's pretty much it for sponsor time. Now it's ad time. Werewolves, however, are a whole other story. They can spawn alongside packs of wolves, that being only one of the two situations where they can spawn during the day. The only other place, of course, being the castle. But these dudes are super annoying to deal with, especially during the full moons. First, they're super tanky, taking multiple rifle rounds to the head to kill, and can only be outran if you have a snake oil speed buff, or if you're on a horse. They're easy enough to avoid, just don't go to the castle or fight the ones that spawn with packs of wolves. But sometimes whenever it's nighttime, it might be necessary to fight these guys to survive survive, and it can lead to you dying super easily. They can be fun to fight as a challenge, but can be extremely difficult at the same time. And for that, our first A tier difficulty enemy is on the list. Now, I kind of also had a whole thing here about the differences between the bandits on horses and the ones not on horses, but the bandit camps that spawn are fairly rare, and you do see a lot more bandits on horses. So what I'll say overall is that these guys are very annoying to deal with. Sometimes you get lucky and they can't hit their shots for nothing, like I pretty much had for this entire playthrough for whatever reason. But other times you'll basically just get one-shotted just by looking at them. Oh, I just got one shot. They are super one-shottable with a rifled headshot though, and that's basically the only real way to fight them, since whenever they get close, they become extremely problematic, whether they're on a horse or not. Probably a B tier if, again, nothing else, because sometimes they're super easy, and yet sometimes they're actual crap to deal with.
I just got one shot.
The boss guy, or the werewolf boss, or Nikola Tesla, I guess, is basically the most difficult enemy in the entire current version of the game, having a ton of HP and overall being a nightmare to fight during solo gameplay. Though this dude does only spawn once, and you can only spawn him after you turn the big giant wheel thing to lower the bridge at the end of the game, and he is an optional enemy to fight. Though he too, much like regular werewolves, can be outrun with a horse or snake oil, but he does throw these giant boulders at you that seemingly one-shot, and his hits do a ton of damage overall. But he can be killed if you start hitting him early with cannons and Maxim guns and the electrocutioner, but if you're unprepared, you can really trip up at the finish line, literally, causing the werewolf boss, or Nikola Tesla for whatever reason, to shred you. And now he finds himself as the only S tier difficulty on this list so far. Funny enough, while he's generally a pretty hard to beat boss on paper, I always seem to be able to easily shred him. Honestly, you just gotta be prepared, and then it should be an easy peasy fight. Well, that is the list. I think I was pretty fair overall with my judgments. But what do you think? Was I right about everything? Was I wrong about everything? Is the normal zombie the hardest enemy in the entire game to beat? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Personally, the only thing that I would change damage-wise about the enemies isn't even really about the enemies. It's more about the melee weapons. I think that melee should do a little bit more damage to make early game just a little bit easier against some of those weaker zombies. But otherwise, the enemies in this game are not particularly hard, but can be super annoying and make the game that little bit more difficult to beat. I'm sure that we'll see more enemies and maybe even revamps to the current enemies that are in game. So if you want to keep up to date with all of the latest and greatest Dead Rails content right here on YouTube, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button with notifications turned on so you don't miss a single video. Also, while you're down there, definitely consider joining the Discord server where we have a whole community of people. And of course, the biggest thanks goes out to the channel members. You guys are the absolute backbone of this channel, and I cannot thank you enough. And you can become one too with the join button on my channel or with the link in the description below. With all that said, scream at me about my opinions in the comment section below, whatever you want to do, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace, dudes.